Let's see how well this is coming across. Welcome to MacBean Scottish Fitness. Shows I'm going, but I haven't seen it pop up here in my feed yet. Which happens from time to time. It can happen. Yes, it can. There we go. Now I can test and see if how's my volume once I get past the commercials. So let's get this. There, it's a little bit better. Make it up a little bit. And I've had a very busy morning. I'm getting ready to fire up some bacon and some eggs. And we got a lot of stuff going on in the world today. I don't know if you're aware of it. Testing 1, 2. There we go. I got it working. But South Korea president has declared martial law, which is something that we kind of talk about every now and then. What if it happened here in America? And kind of a scary conversation. So martial law means that military is kind of shutting down or greatly restricting your movements. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Let me see. Let me read this a little bit better. Eggs cures high cholesterol, yes. So, okay, so my disclaimer, Justin, I am not a doctor. These are basically my personal thoughts on this. Well, I had a very elevated high cholesterol, very high. They had me on 3 different medications. They had me on Crestor, they had me on Lipitor, and they had me on another, which I think was just a very powerful high dosage of B3. Niacin is known to take those down. And it did bring me down to a level below 200, but I had some side effects on the medicine. I took all 3 of them one time, and at the same time, and that was a mistake. I had blotches, and I seem to really react, and I think it's the niacin. I think it's the vitamin B3 that I can react to in not a good way. And I took statins for probably a good 10 years, maybe longer. And just that they were doing different people different ways. So anything, please hit the thumbs up if you think about it. They'd actually put my wife on a statin, which my personal feeling is I try to treat it with diet and exercise, but I am not a doctor, so I'm not going to tell you no. I think Crestor is the one that has the least amount of side effects. I know one I had to get off of, I think it was Stadol, or not Stadol. It was something that, where I was on it, I went and I sparred at the dojo with a man about 20 years younger than me, but my size. We sparred for probably about a half hour, and I was sore for weeks, really sore. And doctor said, okay, we got to get you off of that. And that took care of it. So, like I said, I'm not a doctor. That's what they prescribe when you have elevated. And when you say elevated, are you talking about 150? Are you talking about 180? Are you talking about 250? Are you talking about 400? What was that cholesterol number? then beware, you're just getting, you're not getting a educated opinion. You gotta be really careful about that. And my cholesterol has been as high as 400 at times. My triglycerides have been off the chart. Now with no medication, I'm about 240, and my triglycerides are on the chart. So, you know, would they like to have me on a statin? Maybe I'll go back on Crestor and see where that brings me down to. But right now, I try to stay off of it. My own personal feelings on it, I would say 90% of the people who get told to go on statins go on them. So, depends what your number is, Justin. Are we talking, you know, you're at 180 and you'd just like to be a little bit lower, or are we talking, are you at, you know, 280? And that would have a lot to do with it. So you get a chance, let me pop that in there. The low 200s, but the triglycerides, HDL were fine, okay. Yeah, heart disease in the family, and yeah, so my HDL is poor, my triglycerides are high, in the low to mid 200s. So I would probably go along with your doctor and then just see how you feel. Look for side effects. Side effects can be soreness, can be fatigue, and they probably should be doing a blood test and checking your liver every now and then. Just remember, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to sit there and give you bad advice. Doctor blames it on eggs. Yeah, well, you see how many eggs I eat, and I'm in the, you know, low to mid 200s, so it could be, but your brain needs cholesterol. There's a lot of studies that tell you you have to have cholesterol. You know, going on a very low cholesterol diet can be bad for you. It's one of those, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's so much different information on both sides of it. So, I'll tell you, eggs are far better than cereal. Eggs are far better than most of the stuff that you buy out of the grocery store. That one, I'll challenge. You know? Now we go, what you talking about, Willis? But yeah, that's a good question. So what I'll probably do is, since you brought it up, is I'll do a lot of research tonight at work. Because I have time I can read on the computer in between loads. And, hey Ray, how we doing? So, double follow-ups on my ear operation. You know, for like the last, I don't know, 10 days, I've had to either sleep on my back or on my left side. And I favor sleeping on my right side. So I've been having to get out of bed around 3 in the morning and come downstairs and go in the recliner because my back is bothering me. I'm used to going here, here, and here. Well, I couldn't go here, and it definitely was messing with my sleep. Now last night I went to sleep and I kind of cut my hand like that, and that kind of helped. But finding that, you know, unless I get to roll over that right side, I have an issue with being in the bed too long. And I have, you know, the mattress we've had for a very long time, and we've been very comfortable with it. But so that is an adult decision. Personally, I don't use them. The question was, what do you think about anabolic steroids? So I don't use them. That's my personal thing. I know people who do, and I'm friends with them. And most of them do it under the supervision of a doctor who knows what they're talking about. If you do not, I always say if you are going to do it, make sure you have a physician who is experienced it, because your regular doctor. That's one thing I can say. It doesn't automatically make you big. You still have to put the work in. You still have to exercise. The bacon. Yeah, those labs are, yeah, I wish I had your cholesterol, Ray. You know, your cholesterol is like half of mine, and everything is great in yours. Mine's hereditary. That's just it. One thing I do have to worry about is my heteroids getting clogged up. That's what happened to my dad. And it caused his stroke. One was like 90% closed, the other one was like 80%. He had to have them opened up. And you talk about a personality change afterwards. Once all that blood flow hit him, oh boy, Dad was not the calm dad anymore. He was in his 50s. He was very aggressive. Well, my older sister just had to have the other one done. She's had one and she had the other one. And what she knows, her one eye was kind of drooping. And my oldest brother is going to get scanned and see if he needs to do it. So it kind of runs in the family. But even after my dad followed the diet, took all the medication, like in another, I don't know, would have been 10, 12 years, he had to have it done again. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where there's a lot of different information out there. I hate to sit there and give anybody any guidance on that. You know, Ray, are you on statins? Or did you just do that with diet? Because Ray's numbers were extremely low. For somebody who had a major heart attack, I was actually quite surprised. You know, I'd love to have those numbers. Let me warm this up a little bit. I made my coffee this morning. Then out the door I went. And there my coffee was. Those things kind of happen. So Ray, did they have you on like Crestor or Lipitor or any statins like that? If you could answer that, I'd appreciate it when you get a chance. Let me get in the live chat. I'm in top chat. I don't think I'm missing anything. I don't really have a big enough audience at this time. Remember, hit the thumbs up, please. But I am going to stay with the Incredible Edible Egg. I don't care. I still think it's the best source of protein out there. I've been making either tuna or chicken sandwiches for work. And sometimes I'll have deli meats. And well, my eyesight went to garbage. Which one were you on? Yeah, that's just hereditary. My older brother, who was overweight and doesn't exercise, has a much lower cholesterol than me. Just took after my mom's side of the family. I took after my dad's side. A lot of times it's diet. A lot of times it's just hereditary. Nothing you can do about it. So I had a pretty exciting day today, work-wise, for my part-time job. I picked up 3 really good jobs, so that helped. But then I heard the news that South Korea has declared martial law. Now, I was stationed in South Korea, and that's probably why I kind of have more interest in this than the average person would. And they had, when I was there, this was back in the 80s, they had a curfew. So from midnight to like 6 in the morning, you couldn't be out in the street in town. Now, I lived on base, so that wasn't an issue, but you had to be back on base before midnight. My diet. They can't roll out the diet, true. But I'm gonna keep eating eggs. Now, one thing I did give up was liver. I was that one kid that liked liver. Go figure. And then I was told that's terrible for your cholesterol. I'm like, well, my parents said it was good for you. Then I figured out the reason it was good for me was it was really cheap. And when I lived on my own down in Florida, I used to eat a lot of liver. Because it was cheap. So why wouldn't you? And then I found out that was probably why the parents were telling me to eat liver, because it was easier to feed the family that way. But I love liver. Liver and onions, oh my goodness. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. And it has probably been decades, many decades since I've had liver. So yeah, try to have a much healthier diet. Some days I'm better than others. And then, but I am going to have some toast, because I'm a little down in weight. And that's probably because I haven't been in the gym, but I think by Thursday I can go back into it full bore, hopefully. So, whew, feel cold, it was chilly weather. I got the eggs cooking. I figured I'm going to have some toast with great jelly. So this will be my treat for today. My sweet treat. So I got up probably around 6:30-ish. Mama was able to go to school today. They finally gave her some real medication. She's had pain from on this side, but from the back, through the shoulder, all the way down the arm. I mean, you know, to the point where she couldn't sleep, she was in tears. First time they went to the doctor, they gave her Motrin. I'm like, are you kidding me? You know, I have her on Motrin. They gave her a big dosage of it. Well, that really didn't do anything. So then I picked up some aspirin cream, and that seemed to help, but it wore off rather quickly. So I had her go back in yesterday. I gave her a muscle relaxer, which I should have did it the first time, and then I gave her a steroid, not an anabolic steroid, but a steroid to help with inflammation. So she was able to go to work today. She seems much better. So Korea has declared martial law. And from what I've researched, the president of Korea is saying he's doing it because the opposition party is sympathetic towards North Korea. But he's under investigation for some, and it's politics. You just don't know. You don't know what really is going on. Martial law is where they dictate where you can go, when you can go, and when you have to be back home by the military. It's a concerning thing because South Korea is one of our allies. And the whole idea was they're supposed to be a free country, or a freer country. Here, what we got going on here? The right-wing president of South Korea looks like he's pulling a power play in South Korea in order to take power. Yeah, well, similar to Trump, it is a warmonger. Well, we know Trump is not a warmonger. All right, so we ain't getting out of there. But yes, you are correct. It is concerning, and it does seem like it's a power play. But South Korea, or North Korea's influence is a real thing over there. All right. And it's politics. And I didn't realize how dirty politics were until I've seen like the last 12 years. So I'd never want to be in. I'll tell you right now, in my opinion, if you don't toe the line to the right people at the right time, they can make life hell for you. Which they have here. You know, we can't say too much about other countries now, considering what's just happened here. The breakfast is egg, bacon, and toast. And that's what we got going on right now. And the topic was what's going on in South Korea with martial law. And Henry, I kind of agree with what you said. It does seem like a power play. I gotta look it into more, but I know he has had some issues. So, one theory I've kind of heard some other people talk about is because there is so much chaos going on in the world, it kind of breeds chaos. You got Russia and Ukraine. You got Syria now in the midst of a civil war. Obviously, you still have, Israel and Gaza. And you always had that threat about China and Taiwan. So, hey, why not? While the world's distracted, it seems kind of breed on it. Irrational, I guess it's on which side of the fence you're on. Most of this stuff has happened in the last 4 years. Just saying. Good afternoon, Jen. How we doing? Thanks for popping in. But anytime a country declares martial law, especially a free country, that's concerning. Because generally, it's been my research, most of the time martial law is called upon, it's usually on ones that are not on the side of freedom. And whether it's conservative, whether it's a non-conservative party, whatever, some people just want to stay in power. I bet you they're both keeping an eye on that because, Russia and China banned Korea. It has for a long time. And these are just opinions, folks. All right? If you feel different on it, that's great. We're allowed to have different opinions. But supposedly there's North Korean soldiers over in Ukraine fighting for Russia. Which is that's kind of a new thing. And this is how World War III, this is how World Wars start. Conflict here, conflict here, conflict here, conflict here. Then you all start to group together. One thing I was thinking about that I couldn't understand, and I remember the 100-Day War, you want to call it, first time we went over to Iraq. The news was covering what was going on in the battlefield 24/7. I mean, you turn on the news and you can see this operation going on. You can see this operation going on. And this information, it was just very open and a lot of information. Well, we got this Ukraine-Russia war going on, and there's no information. I mean, there is really nothing. When you turn on the news, there's no news. It's opinions. They're not sitting there showing you what's going on in this engagement or nothing. It's almost like you don't know what's going on over there. And I just thought that was concerning. Henry, in my opinion, World War III has been going on for a while. It's just been a slow burn operation. That's my opinion. It's because we're not involved in it directly. The other man's already heading out there. Like I said, Russia and Ukraine both are huge territories. And they're at, you got the Middle East. Now you got Syria. Now you got what's going on with Korea. The martial law definitely concerns me. That's what I needed. Now here in the States, we're in pretty good shape. And also my opinion is, I'm glad the election went when it did, because my always concern is the constant attack from the left on our Second Amendment rights. Constant attack. That concerns me. It's one of the reasons no one really wants to ever invade here, because we do have the largest freestanding army. It's called civilians. You don't have that in other countries. I was amazed to find out after last year in October that private citizens over in Israel couldn't carry. Couldn't have weapons. It just defied all logic. You know? Now they're changing some of that, but to me that just defied all logic whatsoever. And what's going on in Europe? You got the meltdown there. Scotland. Last time I heard one of those people talking in Scotland about, Trump winning, I was kind of embarrassed to be of Scottish descent. I was like, when does Scotland become a bunch of wimps? Once again, my opinion. But yes, anybody that has family serving over in Korea at this point, I'd be very nervous. Hopefully it'll get solved. I just don't know what the current administration can do or will do. No. We wiped that out on Friday. So, there's 3 of us here, and my son is one of them. So by Friday evening, all remnants of Thanksgiving was gone. And then we made a nice big roast with carrots and corn and green beans and celery, and mushrooms. And that we finished off on Sunday. So I'm going to look for another deal on the roast because that was really good. So yes, that's concerning. What's going on over Syria is concerning. They've lost a lot of ground. So you got rebels probably control over half of Syria right now. That's going to be concerning to Russia. That's when Russia's allies. I don't think they're on the side of the rebels. There's a lot of disruptions in that part of the world. And we have our own issues over here. And right now I have zero confidence in the law enforcement agencies, federal law enforcement agencies, of doing the right thing. And of course, there's the pardon that the president did for his son. No surprise there. Not even sure how I feel about that. Guess I'm okay with the pardon. I'm just not okay with that he went back to 2014. So that's when he was over in Ukraine. Because they say something screwy in St. Louis. So amongst all these world things going on, now, if anything, is now the time to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally. I mean, get out in the gym and lift, go for walks, get exercises. If you have any medical things that need to be tended to, now would be the time to do it. You might want to check your pantry and see how well you're stocked. Maybe don't bump that up a little bit. I think we're going to see a lot of drama forced upon us coming in the next 2 or 3 months. Because that's the only way the news outlets survive. They don't have drama, they don't get views. And whether it's justified or not, this is probably stuff you're going to see. But, here in America, we need to probably fix our own things first before we get involved too much or any further overseas. I think we've and this has been a complaint for a very long time. We're really good about giving money to people outside our country. We're not very good about taking care of our country. Well, you really need to kind of take care of yourself. The little thing is, think, well, the government just take care of it. Probably not the way you think it's going to be. Just saying. That's about as political as I'm going to get. I had a really good breakfast. I feel much better now. Trying to make it to the gym for a light exercise. We'll see how I feel. I've been really trying to get sleep, but like I said, I can't on my right side. So that's kind of been messing with my sleep. Well, I did sleep yesterday. So, but it was a good discussion. And it's things we can have discussions. Henry brought some really good things about that. Is the South Korean president doing it to protect Korea or to protect himself? Inquiring minds would like to know, and only time will tell. We can make assumptions, we can make guesses, but we're just gonna have to see what happens and kind of worry about if you have friends or family over there. Be concerned how this is going to affect the average day citizen, because the average citizen is not causing this issue. It's people vying for power, which always seems to be the case. The average citizen over here is not causing the issue. It's the people fighting for power. That is. So however, rest, nutrition, proper exercise, hydration, go for walks, go listen to live music, go and do things that are enjoyable, spend time with friends and family, and just get in the gym and lift.